Hey guys, it's Amber, and I'm going to be showing you a couple little steps of some processes I'm working on with some enlargements here. So one of the first things I did was create an itinerary, and this is my third one. I did one for my 2018 Montana album, my 2019 Hawaii album, and now my 2019 Italy album. So I'm just kind of visually checking to see if I left enough space with centering and like the sizing of my words for an embellishment at the top. And the last two times I just had words and embellishments at the top, and this time I decided to use some of those wood veneer pieces on the left hand side, and I thought they'd be kind of fun. So some of these are from Ali, some might be from other companies. I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure the cars and the planes are from Ali Edwards. So I have a plane like going to and from the first and last days. I have a little globe, a little star, a little geotag, two cars representing days when we were doing a lot of driving. I mean, we drove every day, but those were like bigger trips. And I'm using red line tape on these so that they will not fall off or break. They're going to be in a page protector, but I still wanted them to be on there really securely and not fall. So I'm switching back and forth between my my 1/8 and my 1/4 inch red line tape, I believe, so that I can use just different chunks or strips as I'm working here. And I'm going to be putting across the top that everyday die cut heart. It's like a slate blue, and I thought it would pair well with the coral font that I have there. And then I have that who, what, where, when, and why chipboard, which is actually a duplicate of the way I did my Hawaii itinerary. Like I said, not trying to reinvent the wheel. I really like the way these look in the two previous albums that I did in a 6x12. I'm even using the same fonts and design style. So just happy with the way this came out. I just printed it on basic white basil cardstock, ran it through my photo printer. I could have run it on photo paper, but I kind of like the textured look of the cardstock. And it looks like I'm just getting near the end here, just peeling off the little pieces of the red line tape. And the way I did my, not journaling, but the way I set up the itinerary is really basic. So the first day we had a little bit more going on because of traveling. But I just have we have our flight to and from where, we picked up our rental car, where we had lunch, checked into our hotel, and then where we had dinner. And for the following days, that was 5 things. The following days I tried to keep it to 3 or 4, basic details of where we did, where we went, what we did, I mean. So I'm using my paper piercer there to help me line up my chipboard, and I wanted to move it a little bit, but the left side was already stuck down, so it wasn't going anywhere. Alright guys, so I want to share some photo enlargements that I just printed on my Canon Pixma. Came out really nice. I'm really happy with the quality of them. So this is going to be my intro page. So these are the 13 by 19 inch pieces of paper. So this is a full 12 by 12 print. My favorite photo from the trip when we were in Bellagio. It's like a really well-known street, and it was like dusk and just really beautiful. Excuse me. So I added some digital word art here. This is like a text file, and then an Ali digital file, and then I put the dates of our trip. And then I have quite a few panoramics. So this is from a day trip we took to Switzerland out on Lake Luzerne. So that'll be my intro. I'm just trying to make the best use of my space here. So this is going to go on the back of my itinerary that I created. So I'm going to cut that out. Just a nice shot at the airport. And then this is a Google Map of Milan. Usually I can find travel maps. I was having a really hard time finding exactly what I wanted, so I looked it up on Google, tracked the airport to Bellagio, and what I'm going to do is show embroidery because we drove. So I'm going to stitch all along the route here. It's only like an hour and a half, but I blew it up really close. And then I'm actually going to be printing a second one of these that's going to show us going from Como to Lake Luzerne in Switzerland, but I haven't printed that one yet. And here I have another panoramic of Torno, which is like right around the bend from our hotel, and a big shot of our hotel here from the water. And then I added some more of that digital font showing the hotel. I wanted to write or add like a digital file, but what I'm probably going to do, instead of having a word art that says hotel, I think I might use this chipboard that says Hello Hotel, because it's really similar in color. And I think that might look good right there. So that's kind of what I'm thinking for that. And then I was going to add some digital art here, but I might just use some letter stickers saying where that is. And then my last printout that I have from today is a nighttime shot of Bellagio from our hotel view. This is a font called Master Blush that I bought for like $1 online, more of the Lake Como font. And then these were 2 more panoramics that I printed out. I couldn't get them 4x12 to be able to see like both sides of the view here. That's Bellagio and that's on Lake Como when we were on a boat. So I printed them at 3x12, and I just thought I could have a little bit of white as like a white border. So like I said, really happy with how these came out. I'm gonna get them trimmed out and get started. I'll probably be adding a geotag of some kind. I have some puffy stickers or maybe something wooden, but I have these, and this color is really similar, or I might use like a blue to pop a little bit more. So really excited to get started, and just trying to share some of the steps with you. Thanks, bye. Alright guys, so I printed out one more enlargement, and since it's 13-inch paper and my trimmer's only like 12 and a half, I have to trim a little bit off before I can use it, but I prefer to use my trimmer so I can get straighter lines. So here I have a 12x12 and a 6x12 from Switzerland. Whenever I can, I like to print photos from the same place together so that the colors work out. Doesn't always matter though. So the paper that I use is the Canon Luster Plus, which is a really nice matte finish. Doesn't show fingerprints and doesn't show too much glare. And I'm really happy with the quality of it. And I use off-brand Sherman inks from Amazon. So I don't really include the cost of ink in my costs, but these pages are about $1 a sheet, and I paid, at the time I bought the printer that I use, $166 for a large format. The pages come 50 to a pack, but when you figure that for a 13 by 19 sheet of paper it's $1, and when I pay $22 for like a 20 pack of replacement off-brand inks and they come out with this kind of quality, it's completely worth it for me to print at home. Indoor photos do come out a little bit darker, but outside photos come out wonderfully. So for these two, I added some of the same font again for the Luzerne, Switzerland, and then I added a Long Live Spontaneous Adventures, which was digital art from Allie way back in the day called Spontaneous Adventures. And then this is from the Adventure Story Kit, and I just added that. So I selected this for my boyfriend's shirt as a nice blue. I thought about doing a circle like I did with my other 6x12 insert, but this had a lot of plain sky and this doesn't, so I didn't want to feel too crowded, so I just let that just be by itself so you could see everything behind it. So really happy with how this album's come together. So the next step here is going to be me doing the embroidery for the path we took from the airport to our hotel. I would usually recommend like a mouse pad or some other kind of base for punching holes, but I couldn't find anything, so I actually am just using a cardboard box actually, and it worked really well. It was nice and thick, and I just was able to punch the holes without anything sticking. There was a couple times when I punched a little bit like one over too far for the directions, and I just smoothed the holes back out and you couldn't even really see them. I did cover them with like a white sticker, like photo tab, so that it really didn't show. But I just took my time, looked up our route that we had taken in the past. I kind of knew from, having done it, where all we went. So I'm just using this paper piercer to get everything punched through. And then I'm going to grab some light blue, slightly darker than the lake's embroidery floss. I thought about doing white, but it didn't show up enough. Black was too stark, and I also had like a navy blue that was also too stark. So I was able to find something that kind of complemented the map. And my holes aren't like perfectly even, but I tried to like keep them fairly even, maybe like a 1/4 inch apart, except for when there was like big directional changes. So I just used some sticky tape to lay it down. I did do like one knot just to keep all the strands together in case they pulled out, but I didn't want it to feel too bulky. So I'm just taking a regular embroidery needle for cross stitch, and what I'm doing is I'm just going into every other stitch. I'm not trying to like backtrack over everything. I just figured what I can do is do every other stitch from the beginning of my holes to the end, and then once I get to the end, I'll just double back and do every other hole to fill them all in all the way, and that worked out really well for me. So I used 3 strands of embroidery floss, and that seemed thick enough that it like stood out, but not so thick that it was like extra bulky. And I think I only had to like refill my needle once. Like I used the full strand and then like a half a strand. And then I went ahead and printed and did the other map that I had talked about towards the beginning of the video while I had all the supplies out. And it was kind of like satisfying work actually, which sounds funny, but it's true. And my original plan was only to show that we went to Bellagio, but then we drove from Bellagio the next day to our like place we were staying at for the rest of the trip, because that was only one night. So I figured I would show that we like kind of drove on. So I grabbed some chipboard that were chipboard thickers from American Crafts, and you'll see in a photo in a little bit that I added just a 1, 2, 3. And I'm gonna add some sort of label, probably stating like what the cities are. Like you can kind of see what they are, but like where the 3 is, it's just in the middle of nowhere with no actual town, and that's where our hotel is. So I'll probably put some sort of like label sticker or something on the map. I haven't officially decided yet. One thing I will say is, like, unlike a cross stitch Ada where you can like feel the holes with your finger, I had to flip this over back and forth for every single stitch because of the way the holes were punched down through the paper. I couldn't pull the needle back up without looking. It just didn't seem to go through, even though I tried to use my finger as a guide, but it was fine. It was not hard at all. And then I also decided to punch a hole near the 3 areas and put a brad that was like a crystal brad. And then I just used my scissors to help flatten it down because they had really thick bases, and I was really happy with the way that came out. So just including a little close-up shot here showing the 2 and the 3 and the brads and how it looked, and really, really happy with the way this came out. So thanks so much for watching.